My name is Mika. I'm a full-time teacher at the Helsinki Pop and Jazz Conservatory. I began there in 2000. Nowadays I educate drummers and instruct a hand technique workshop for drummers and percussionists. I also teach rhythm classes, ensembles and the music history. And I'm the artistic director of music festivals in vocational education. To educate myself into music, I love the multi-dimensionality of this profession. If I look back, my focus has changed a lot during my teaching career. In the beginning, after I got the drum teacher's degree, I was a little confused with the pedagogy itself because of my slightly low knowledge of the music. So I went to the University of Helsinki to study musicology to complete and balance my education in musicianship, teacher's profession and music culture issues. Always the music has stayed in the first place. Then comes drumming, teaching and composing. A teacher's profession balances the real world with the music's magic world and of course the income. When I was on the eve of my professional studies in the late 80s, I already wrote some exercises for my imaginary book and imaginary students. I never really practiced them myself, but it was fascinating to learn to draw notes and plan concepts. Later, I prepared handouts for my students, first by hand and later with notation apps. My first complete book was a side project of my university studies where I benefited from the results of musical analysis from my master's thesis. The first edition was a little like a university seminar paper. 2 years later, in 2009, I published the second edition with a DVD and a commercial layout. After this book, I have released 3 other books. Sure, there is. I wrote the basics of drum set performance and rhythmics for the drum set in succession and released them in 2008 and 2009. Drummers' control and coordination and the essentials of brushes were also prepared in succession and published in 21 and 24. All my books are put together carefully. The texts are informative and when needed sources are also mentioned. The exercises are tested with my long experience as a teacher. Notations are clear and exercises are comprehensive but still compact. Videos in the 2 latest are high quality with studio level audio and well considered camera angles. All books also contain beginner level and advanced level content. No way! The first 2 were a step into an author's world. After that, I began to write music actively and lead the bands. In those 7 years, I celebrated myself as a musician. When I was mixing my solo project album Biguzzi, I wasn't happy with my drumming in the Pro Tube. I became a beginner again and began to study rudimental techniques from the sketch. After a few years of practicing, I received a certificate from National Association of Rudimental Drummers. I continued from the practice pad to apply rudiments around the drum set. As a result, I released Drummers Control and Coordination in 2021, first in Finnish as a spiral back book. Quite soon I started with the essentials of brushes. The first two books deal strongly with the drummer's role in the ensemble, and the latest two deal with the motor skills from the rudimental viewpoint. Of course, we don't play the rudiment standards with brushes in the brass book. Instead, we use rudimental methods to improve our skills and coordination. This is the biggest difference in these books, which changes the viewpoint from grooves and musical forms to the stroke level. The two latest are the most modern ebooks on the market. These PDF books have all the features we can only wish from the digital releases. Navigation is easy because of the dynamic table of contents and the headers in the text. Just click and you are there where you aim to. When you click the QR code, you are taken to the videos on the Vimeo streaming service. You can also point your smartphone's camera at the QR and you are on the very same video. These two are the first of these well-accessible drum manuals on the market.
In page 1, cover photo, hammered top.
Every photo and musical notation has alternative text. Even the preview app of the Mac computer can read out loud all the contents of the book.
It is reasonable to hold the brush far enough towards the table. No selection. In table. No selection column 1 of 3.
Adobe Acrobat can read most of the books, and a proper screen reader finds everything in these books. I want to approach this issue from author's perspective. It's good if this kind of method book includes a plot, some story. A traditional book, even if it was a drummer's instructional manual, must proceed like a novel. When the story is complete, the method is ready too. The customer's point of view, when you skim the index and the book inside, the path to development must be available to the reader at the moment. The steps must follow each other logically with no feeling of a hurry or need to jump there and back or rely on luck. I have studied with many great teachers and musicians. To name the most important is difficult. Anyway, Mr. Tommi Rautiainen is in the first place. He was my teacher just when he came out from the Manhattan School of Music in New York City, where he had studied for many years with John Riley. Tommy taught me how to practice, how to get strong sound from the instrument, and all that jazz thing. In rudimental drumming, I'd like to mention Mr. Tomi Kauppila, drum master of Finnish military forces. The lessons and endless discussions with him opened the door to developing my teaching skills in stick control to the next level. I have also interviewed and studied with a bunch of top-class mentors in the United States and Canada. For some to mention, John Riley in the New York City on brushes, Chris Lamb also in New York City on developing curriculum for drummers, John Rudolph in Toronto in classical snare drumming, Ken Masur in Clearwater Beach in Florida on rudimental drumming, and Shannon Powell in New Orleans, Louisiana on second line. Many more rudimental drummers from the US and a bunch of African drummers too. Only a few people know me by name worldwide. Being a full-time teacher in Finland means you need more resources to be really active as a freelance musician. As an independent publisher, there are no big resources for marketing these books. I hope the customers are happy with these books and share their knowledge and experience. As an ending, these books are must for the teachers. Thank you for your interest and watching this video. See you!